Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the regular City of Prescott meeting to order. It is Monday, September 23rd at 6 o'clock. Do a roll call. Lindsay? Here. Adam? Here. Maureen?
Here.
Mike?
Here.
And Dar is excused, and I haven't heard anything from John. Everybody please stand and do Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is public comments. City Council received public comments on any issue related to the agenda. Limited discussion by the City Council may take place.
Just take us.
Have to come up to the
Podium,
podium
please,
and
that
tell
way
us,
you got
tell us who
podium.
you are and
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. My name's Terry Schoonover, and as many of you know, we've got new legislative maps. And so the new Assembly District 29 runs from Trempealeau up to here, over to Blair, Pigeon Falls. And I'm here just to introduce myself. I'm running for State Assembly for the new 29th Assembly District. So I appreciate the opportunity to just maybe take a minute or two and tell you a couple things about me. I live between Alma and Cochrane. I spent 20 years at Mayo Clinic, and I retired 7 years ago and moved to overlooking the bluff between Alma and Cochrane, and somehow got talked into running for State Assembly. So I'm not sure how that happened, but here I am. As you know, it's a huge district. I've spent the last 5 months going to every corner of the district, and I think I put on over 9,000 miles in 5 months. And so one of the things I'm hearing is that people are just exhausted at the hyper-partisanship and gridlock and want us to get along, get stuff done. At Mayo Clinic, I was an emergency management coordinator, so I worked with firemen, policemen, some fairly strong-willed folks, and we got stuff done because we respected each other. And sometimes we agree to disagree, but anyway, that's kind of my background. I did give Rochelle my contact information if anybody has any desire to go out. I've got a good website, and I'll stick around till the meeting's over. If you have a closed session, I'll probably head out after that. But it's an hour and a half to get up here. I stopped in Hager City today, Diamond Bluff, and I'll leave you with the last thing. When I go to these meetings, and I think I've been to 18 city, village, and in town and meetings, and I will say, you know, the federal level elections and the state kind of suck up all the oxygen in the room, but this is really where most of the work gets done, quietly behind the scenes, and so I appreciate that. I did one interesting thing I learned over at the Pigeon Falls Village Council meeting. This was probably 3 months ago. One of the gentlemen said, "So where are you from again?" And I said, "Well, between Alma and Cochrane." He goes, "Oh, over here we call that the Wisconsin Riviera." And so just to let you folks in Prescott know, you're living on the Wisconsin Riviera over here. And I get a chuckle usually when up and down the river when I tell folks that. They had no idea they lived on the Wisconsin Riviera. So thank you for the opportunity to tell you about myself a little bit.
Thanks.
Okay, any other public comments? Not. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Tourism Committee minutes from August 8th, Health and Safety Committee minutes from September 9th, City Council meetings from September 9th, Tourism Committee minutes from September 10th, TIF Joint Board Review minutes from September 11th, Planning Commission minutes from September 11th, and Parks and Public Work Committee minutes from September 16th.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is reports of standing committees and commissions. Finance Committee report from Wednesday, September 18th. Matt, you want to take that?
Sure. So we met as a finance committee
on September 18th. First, Carter Hayes, city planner, gave an overview of the lead service line inventory that we're required to do through the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. Treasurer Beth Lansing gave a 2024 budget overview of where we're currently looking and forecasting to go. Then we discussed upcoming capital improvement items for 2025. This included equipment and vehicles, the new police squad replacement that we're discussing, our 2025 Mill and Overlay project, McGee Park improvements, public square park tennis courts, and then Shane Park Circle. Then we reviewed capital improvement planning for 2026 and beyond, our upcoming TID 4 projects, especially the Riverfront Phase 2. Went over 2025 wages and personnel, and then we discussed a number of administration items. And then we had no other business, and we adjourned.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the finance is upcoming budget meeting on Wednesday, October 9th at 4 o'clock. Planning Commission, next meeting is Monday, October 7th at 6. Parks and Public Works, next meeting is Monday, October 21st at 5. Health and Safety, next meeting Monday, November 11th at 5. Personnel, next meeting Wednesday, November 6th at 5 o'clock. Next item on the agenda is communications and new business. The council received public comments on any issue not related to the agenda. Limited discussion by the council may take place. However, no action will be taken on any item. Includes receiving written requests, documentation, possible action at a future meeting. Okay, hearing none. Next item on the agenda is consider of approval for the Erickson subdivision concept plan. Matt?
Thank you, Barry Council. Before I start, I do want to acknowledge developer Doug Erickson and Louis Filkins are both here. I'll turn it over to them once they go through this. So this came before Planning Commission on September 11th. Just to give you a little background, Mr. Erickson is proposing a 9-lot subdivision at the corner of Walnut and Dexter. This is all proposed to be zoned R1 with lots ranging from 1 to 5 acres in size. This does require that the Plan Commission have a preliminary consultation, and then anything that goes through Plan Commission and reviewed then comes before council for review and approval as well. So the layout that is being proposed would have a 600-foot street ending in a cul-de-sac. This is due mainly to the topography and some of the restrictions that we have in elevation around there. This does meet the maximum 600-foot length requirement that we have within our ordinance. There would be a public trail access as well off of Dexter Walnut that connects then down into McGee Park. The southern parcel would then also have a stormwater pond. In terms of utilities, they would extend from Walnut and Dexter Streets. Homes would be required to have a private sewage pump for connecting to the force main. City Engineer Greg Adams has confirmed this method is viable. So one of the things we would have as part of a proposed development agreement would be to include that for a sewage grinder pump that would be at the maintenance of the property owner and homeowner as they're built. And then in terms of water service, that it was reviewed and it is adequate and will meet specifications for the proposed development. In terms of stormwater management, the pond would be located on a southern parcel that we would require to be separate. Mainly this is being done because as we go for grants for the proposed park area, many of those grants have a certain amount of restrictions that burden the property, so we just want to make sure they're separated on two separate parcels. One of the things, because of some runoff issues that we have on Dexter and Walnut, the developer is asking for assistance for stormwater system development as part of this development. Mr. Erickson is also proposing the donation of 25 acres on the southern parcel for future trail development that would connect again to Walter and Dexter. This trail development is part of our city's comprehensive outdoor recreation plan on page 27 for further development. And you can see a proposed or a concept layout of how that trail would connect here on the map to the left and then reach down into McGee or connect down into McGee Park. So if the subdivision continues moves forward, we would be working on a development agreement. Again, the developer has requested some assistance with sanitary and storm sewer due to the very large land dedication that is being proposed. If this was a typical subdivision that was just having, or just meeting our code, the only dedication requirement would be 1.7 acres. And again, Mr. Erickson is proposing dedicating 25 acres. So details on that would then have to be negotiated as part of that agreement, and then that would come forward with final approval. Or final plat, I should say, with final approval. So the Plan Commission approved this concept plan, and they voted 5-0 for approve it and pass it on to council. One of the things they did note is they like the larger lot sizes. And so before you tonight is consideration with the recommendation to approve the concept plan so we can move forward with, the developer can move forward with the preliminary plat, and then we can begin negotiations on a development agreement. I'll turn it over to Louis or Doug if you guys have any comments you want to make.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
I'm Louis Filkins with Ogden Engineering, here with the owner, Doug Erickson. Matt, can I get to the map page by chance?
The one that you guys put, we have.
Yeah, either one. Yeah, that's good, thank you. So as Matt mentioned, this, I believe this was a Jim French owned this property for quite a while, and Doug purchased it, and it's a beautiful piece of property, but it's a little, what we call topographically challenged. You know, it's got some areas that are not developable. Dry run runs kind of down across this way, some steep slopes, and there's not a whole lot can be done with it, but there is something that can be done with it, and it seems like the time is right for some larger lots with a little, maybe some cooperation with the city. This drawing actually came about from Greg, really, and we kind of tweaked it a little bit so I wouldn't be accused of plagiarism, but there's not much you can do. There's a cul-de-sac, it drops down off of Walnut here and comes down the hill, and then it kind of flattens out towards the bottom. And you notice these lots are much larger than a typical quarter or third of an acre of a city lot. It's because of the topography. And some of them are even larger yet, 3, even pushing 4 acres. On your drawing, you see I put some house locations and driveways, and in particular lots 1 and 9 have long driveways, one going up the hill to a house location, one going down the hill to a more secluded home location. They don't have to be there. It's just thought I'd show that, as an alternative to putting a home in a traditional location near the road, you could do something a little different with those 2 lots. The other lots, 2 through 8, would have a more traditional home location, but still on a larger lot. These lots have a width at the building setback line of about 140 feet. So that's probably 60 to 80 feet larger than most 70, somewhere in that range, maybe more like 60 feet larger, wider rather, and then than the typical lot, and they're much deeper. The whole area is basically wooded. I show stormwater management kind of down at the bottom of the hill here. It's a nice big, fairly level location with some, topographically it has kind of a natural hillside on 3 sides of it. We just have to build a berm here. Now, this is contingent though upon a flood study that's happening in here. So we're hoping this to be a great location, but we're not certain it's going to fit the flood information that Greg's working on the DNR with, I believe. We also show about a 40-foot wide access where the trail would be, and that would also be access to this pond for vehicles that might need to get down there and do maintenance. And then the sewer system is such that all of the lots are lower in elevation, so they would have to have a force main system to pump the sewage up to the top, the intersection up here, and then gravity drain from there. And as Matt mentioned, Greg's worked with that kind of thing before and knows that that'll work for this number of lots. think that's about all I have. Doug, is there anything in particular you'd like to add to that? So I guess I'd entertain any questions.
Hi. Is this property part of what was going to be sold by the school district to the owner?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, that's
still
further
north.
up the,
Yeah, up the valley.
okay. Isaac, have you seen these plans?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it looks really good.
I don't see
So are
any.
you gonna keep the lots pretty much the way they are now? Is this- When you come with the preliminary plat, that's how you're gonna have them laid out?
Yeah, we hope to mimic this pretty close.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, like the large area there for a wild area. It's nice.
Yeah, I don't see a problem. Legal?
These are really large lots. Do we have any others that are between 2 and 5 acres in town?
Not very many.
There might be a few up in that Pleasant Avenue area that might get close, but that'd be about it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But because of the landscape topography and everything.
Yeah.
Even though, these are pretty large, I mean, what percentage of these lots are actually, can you build on or develop? Like if someone owned that.
Well, there's buildable areas on all of these lots. There is a fairly level zone that, roughly kind of in this area. It goes uphill this way and it goes downhill this direction. These two lots will probably need some sort of pad correction built at the time of road construction, makes the most sense.
What kind of correction?
Well,
Gotta be leveled out a little bit,
Oh, I see, yeah.
or made for a walkout or something of that nature.
It's not required, but while you're in construction, it makes sense, because they're gonna need some fill, a little bit of fill there. The rest of the lots are pretty good on their own. There's some nice natural opportunity for walkout basements. And this lot is very level. So, yeah, I mean, I'd encourage you to walk down there in another week or two and the skeeters die off, maybe. It's a little wild, but Doug has mowed a trail down. And, yeah, I guess we could probably squeeze more lots in with making them 80 feet wide, and having more lots in here. But it just seems to make sense to make them more of a style that you'd find in the country, so to speak, 1.5 acre, 2 acre lot.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's unique.
I don't know if we'd want to make them smaller.
So I'm not sure if I answered your question about
Nope, yeah.
if they're buildable, yeah.
Where he's got that cul-de-sac, that used to be McGee's so-called park area where the kids would go down and do whatever, so I know that area's pretty flat. It's only the first couple on both sides as you come down Walnut, they're kind of steep, otherwise it's flat down, fairly flat down the bottom.
Yeah, and that's why lots 1 and 9 are larger, much larger. And I thought, there's opportunity for a long, driveway, still challenging, 8 to 10% slope, but doable on both 1 going up to a potential build site up here, maybe with a nice view, I'm not sure. And then again, a similar situation, only a driveway going downhill to a build site more in the center, somewhere in this area. As I mentioned, it wouldn't have to be that way. You could definitely
Well, there's room.
build a room there. It's just more earthwork and,
I like the trail access up there too,
Mhm.
linking that side
That's
of
really
everything to Maggie Park and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good thought. Okay.
Would these be more custom designed housing?
it wouldn't have to be.
Okay.
I know Mr. Erickson would like to build his own home here, so I think his would be custom built. But, there might be a lot or two that would benefit from having especially on the north side, would benefit from having a higher foundation wall in the rear to accommodate the hill going up behind it, something like that. But it's not terribly unusual. No.
I've forgotten, what's the acreage number for what you're offering the city?
25.
25, is it? Okay.
Pretty sure that's what he said.
I think it's a little more than half. Doug, what is your acreage that you have now?
45.
45, so it's a little more than half the property.
46, I think you got proposed, 25, 28.
Yeah.
It's connected to McGee Park and Israel, so you can speak to that. It'll be really a part of the park system that they've done a great job already.
And almost double McGee's Park Trail,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
That's a lot of space there.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're looking for a motion.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'll make a motion for approval and consideration of approval for Erickson subdivision concept plan.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion, a second for consideration approval for Erickson subdivision concept plan. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I have one comment. I think this is really an excellent plan for this topography. I am concerned that we know from our housing study that we really need senior and first home buyer development. And I would like us to keep that in mind as one of our long-range goals is about affordable housing and or even first-time home buyer housing. And the seniors, they're clamoring every year. So, thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is Resolution
I'd like
39-24,
to see it over back.
approving an agreement with Cedar Corps for professional engineering services for not to amount or exceed $195,300 for the riverfront Phase 2 improvements. Greg, you want to take that?
I don't think so. They're gonna
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, the labs would be about 100,000,
So
I'm sure.
in your agenda packets, you can see this is on the riverfront Phase 2 improvements. I attached that map because that really defines the scope of the work to be done. It's a little harder than just saying a street 4 or 5 blocks or something like some of the other things we've done. And that was part of some planning over, probably about a year or year and a half almost, with committee level input and consolidation of ideas to where we got to what the city's vision was for the Phase 2 riverfront project. So the scope of services, part of the packet there, really kind of outlines the services we're intending to do. Maybe rather than try to put you to sleep reading every paragraph within here, basically it is putting together the design plans, bidding, awarding the project, and it does include the construction oversight services too, so it's kind of all in one. For those features in that park, that would include, of note, it is also that bathroom and pavilion structure. Our architectural group would be putting that design together and overseeing that construction in the park. There would be potentially some additional survey data or primarily right-of-way determination, making sure we have all of that documented correctly. Preliminary design engineering, we would want to put together the preliminary plans before and reviewing that with staff and committee councils before moving forward for final design, largely following what we hope is the goals of the concept planning that the committee levels had done prior to this. And as I said, it would be, one of the bigger features would be the bathroom shelter building. That will have architectural plans, will have mechanical, plumbing plans associated with that. Also, it would feature some park amenities, playground equipment, incorporating some of the Phase 1 style of features like the bollard lighting, benches, if that is still what the city wants to do. We're looking at another potential overlook near the Mercard Park, similar to the Phase 1 project. It would include all the permitting, DNR requirements that we'd have to adhere to, cultural resource permits, erosion control, and basically any other agency requirements we have to do. The final design engineering plans, specifications, and bidding documents and those services will be wrapped up at the end of the design. We will bid the project as we've done with all of the city projects. And then the construction engineering services would be the same type of services we would provide on other projects we design. We'd have some full-time and part-time inspection out there during construction. We would do the construction staking, putting in the monuments that the contractor would need for construction. And then administering that, making sure it's built to the specifications, testing that would be required, handling pay applications, any change orders that might occur, and basically closing out the project. There is a timeline in there. There's kind of a breakdown of our fees kind of by work element there that kind of constitutes that total engineering and construction engineering fee. So this is just, when I say construction engineering, it doesn't mean that's the construction cost. It's the engineering services we provide during construction when the contractor is selected. And the timeline that we've mapped out, and Matt always puts together these really nice summaries for you. I think Matt does an excellent job of really informing the council of the planning that the city's doing, and a good highlight, a backstory, the history. And that same schedule is what Matt attached on that second page on this item here. Assuming we would go ahead with that, we're looking at final design the end of December, putting this out for bids in opening bids January 22nd, awarding on the January 27th council meeting, and then the other timelines for completion. I would think August 31st would be an appropriate time, but we'll also look at the final design documents, talking with contractors, assuming that materials, supplies, and things like that, especially with the building of the bathroom, it's probably going to be the longer path item there. So with that, I guess if you have any questions you wanted to ask me? Yes?
Yeah, I have one.
Sure.
Will the pedestrian crossing for the railroad crossing there, will that include a couple of options, like something that would be elevated, or because, or is it only a ground?
We're only anticipating like a sidewalk at grade crossing that is, it would be permitted with the rail. We'd have to work with the rail on that, get on that. Probably one of the first things we would do is get going on that. But it would have it'd be built to pedestrian standards for a rail crossing.
Okay.
At grade. Yep. I should mention, I think it's in there too. It does not include anything with the marina dock, and Matt had alluded to that too in his summary. So.
Motion to approve Resolution 39-24, an agreement with Cedar Corps for professional services for the amount not to exceed $195,300 for the riverfront Phase 2 improvements.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve Resolution 39-24, approving the agreement with Cedar Corps for professional services not to exceed $195,300 for riverfront Phase 2 improvements. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Well, just the one, you did mention the Merkert Park, is that part of it too?
Yeah, with.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was the same.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
I did have one quick question. Do
Yeah.
we know roughly the distance between the playground and the blacktop for the parking lot? How far is that? And if it's close, do we have any type of barrier for shrubs or anything like that, just for like little kids running out?
The distance from the playground area to the park, I don't have a scale with me, but I'm
Just-
guessing it'd be 60 feet or something like that, depending on,
That'd be about,
Part of the
I kind of know the
playground.
area, he's pretty close, Adam, about 50
Okay.
to 60.
yeah. And I guess we hadn't looked at like any fencing along there, but it's certainly something that could be looked at in the
I just know how
final
kids love to
review.
dart and run and
Yep.
stuff, and when you got especially trailers and boats and
Correct,
trucks and
yeah.
stuff running around. Yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
here, so.
Yeah.
That could be something too, where it's just, and
Even
with-
something decorative or something, just
Correct.
something to keep
Yep.
them from running.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
they're gonna take this fence, we could actually have our own city maintenance guys reposition it over here, would be a good idea too.
What, the playground?
Yeah, well, see, this fence here is gonna, according to that one before, is gonna get replaced with something fancier. And we could use that fence and have the city maintenance guys put it down here. We would think that if it's a necessary item. Save that fence. Wouldn't
If we
cost
did
us
that,
anything.
we'd probably want it to match the rest of our
Well, I-
fencing that we've been putting up. I'm pretty sure
It doesn't need to be
that's-
like some huge chain link thing either, just something that would stop a running child.
Right.
Well, I'm just saying if that's.
Even bushes would do that, so,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion? Not, do a roll call. Mike,
Yes.
Marie,
Aye.
Adam,
I,
John,
Aye.
Lindsay?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Okay, the
I can't
next item on the
believe we're
agenda is
doing
ordinance
phase two.
07-24, an ordinance to amend and additions to city ordinance, chapter 421-7, boat launching regulations. First reading. Matt, you want to take that?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just one second as I get to that portion in the packet. So we brought this to Health and Safety, and the reason this came up is specifically as we're talking about the boat launch and the riverfront Phase 2 improvements. As we've had some issues where vehicles that do not have trailers are parking in boat trailer spots, and we don't have an ideal ordinance that we can really cite those vehicles for. So working with our city attorney and talking with staff, we put together a proposal to add a subsection C for 421-7. This has been reviewed by our city attorney, and it simply says trailer parking. The parking lot at the Prescott boat launch shall be designated and marked only for vehicles that have trailers attached for launching at the boat launch. Any vehicle parked in the designated area without a trailer shall be in violation. So, oh, sorry, that was the original language. Let me read the language that our city attorney proposed and that we're proposing in the actual ordinance for you. I apologize for that. The parking lot at the Prescott boat launch shall be designated and marked only for vehicles that have boat trailers attached for launching at the boat launch. Any vehicle parked in the designated area without a boat trailer shall be in violation and shall be subject to a forfeiture as provided in 1-4 of this code. So, with that, tonight is the first reading. What we're proposing for council is to have the first reading and then move it to a second reading at the next meeting for consideration of approval. However, it is within your purview. If you wanted to pass it tonight, you could that, or if you had other changes, if you want to send it back to committee, you could also do that as well. So I'll turn it over to council for comments and questions.
I was gonna say, is there a reason or need to have another
Well,
reading?
do we have signs already, Matt? that states that they can only have people there with trailers?
We do.
Okay.
Although one of the things that we're working on as part of phase 2 is Carter's putting together a GIS application, and we're working at this McGee Park to officially map out where we're gonna have signs throughout to try to make sure that we do have an improved sign layout down there as well.
To answer your question, when you make a change like that, just doing the first reading gives the public an opportunity to give you any feedback. And if you don't get any feedback by the next time, then you can, approve the second and third reading. That's kind of what the,
That's the reason for it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I make a motion to approve the first reading of the, I want to make sure I get the right one. The ordinance 07-24, amendment of the addition of the city ordinance for boat launch regulation.
Second?
okay, we have a motion second to approve the first reading of ordinance 07-24 to amend city ordinance chapter 421-7 boat launching regulations. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried, thank you. Next item on the agenda is ordinance 08-24, an ordinance to amend an addition to city ordinance chapter 545-15, stopping or parking prohibited in certain specific places. First reading, Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. So one of the things that actually came about as a result of our conversation on the boat launch was just having a general regulation. This is something, again, as our officers are looking at parking, and we've had discussions about parking downtown, and when vehicles are parked in a manner that are not consistent with the posting, putting something with their ordinance that they can rely on in terms of citations. So what's being proposed for you tonight is adding to 545-15, section F, which is simply based on the recommendation of our city attorney, prohibited parking. It shall be prohibited for any vehicle, trailer, motorcycle, golf cart, ATV, or any other motorized machine of any kind to park in a manner that is inconsistent with the posted signs or marked parking regulations within any city right-of-way, parking lot, or street. I'll turn that over to council for comments or questions.
In reading over this today, I thought about motorcycle parking. And I know that sometimes 2 or 3 motorcycles park in one parking space. I don't think that's a problem because they generally know each other and they're all in the bar together. So, but I just wondered if they're ticketing for that, or is that legal parking, or will it fall under this parking?
In terms of multiple, as long as they fit within the designated area, I don't believe I've not heard of them citing for that, but this would apply to, say, for instance, you have motorcycle parking and a golf cart parks within it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah, the golf carts kind of park on grass lots. They're almost sidewalks. Anywhere they seem to be finding a spot.
Oh.
That's
But they're not allowed on that street anyway because it's a state highway.
They can cross it.
They can cross
Yeah,
it.
they
They
can
can't
cross
be.
it.
But I think they're talking numerous places, parking lots up on
Oh,
my
I see.
street or wherever.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm sure he's not talking about like when guys with lawnmower service parking cross-site in there for a second during the middle of the week. It's mostly, yeah, parking on lawns and stuff like that.
Motion to put the, ordinance to amend additions to the city ordinance, chapter 545-15, stopping or parking prohibited in certain specific areas for the first reading.
A second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 08-24, ordinance to amend and additions to city ordinance, chapter 545-15, stopping parking prohibited in certain specified places, first reading. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next item on the agenda is other business. There's a special city council meeting next Monday, September 30th at 6 o'clock. Any other business?
Just let us know if you, no, John, let us know just now if you can't make it, but if anybody else can't make it to the 30th meeting, please let us know as soon as possible. So we can.
Do you anticipate that that meeting will be fairly short?
Guess it all depends on how many questions you guys have, but I will.
Oh, I guess it's gonna be long then.
Well, there's a civic conversation happening that same night, and it starts at 6:30. So that's,
Might not make that.
okay.
We'll put a timer on.
Okay, next item on the agenda is closed session. Closed session per Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, vesting of public funds, or conducting other specified public business, wherever competitive bargaining reasons require a closed session, to wit, discussion, consideration of the Prescott Police Union contract and the Erickson subdivision development agreement.
I make a motion that we go into closed session.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, go into closed session. Do a roll call. Lindsay?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Maureen?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Okay, we're in closed session.
Can we have a 5-minute break?
We can do that.
Thank you.
Put a timer on. It was nice meeting you.
Thanks for coming.